Hi. We've been doing some crochet, and I'd like to talk to you about some of the stitches that we've done and how to change them. I wear a lot of my knit things, and right now I'm working on some bamboo to make a sweater. It's actually a t-shirt. And let me see if I can get close to this. When you look at knit stitch, a lot of people will look at knit and they'll say, oh, you made that, that's so pretty, but I like to crochet and my stitches don't quite look like knit stitches. So this is called a stockinette stitch, and it's very, hide the lace stitch. It's very uniform, and the stitches look like little V's, upside down V's, and then right side up V's. So that's called stockinette, and basically when stockings were made, that's how they were made. They were made like that. So when we look at crochet stitches, let's look at this crochet stitch. This is in the round, and it's just crocheting into each stitch, and you can kind of see it's quite a bit different from a knit stitch, and you can tell it's crochet. This stitch is going back and forth. It's not going in the round yet, it's going back and forth, so you can kind of see the difference. It's a little bigger. Actually, you can see it really well here. This is going back and forth, and you kind of get the dips. When you crochet, you just go around, and it makes a tighter fabric. So what I wanted to talk to you today about is there is a way that you can crochet and make your crochet stitches look more like knitting stitches, and I'm going to kind of show you how we do that. And let me actually, this one's bigger so you can see it better. When you put these two together, you can kind of see the difference a little bit. So what I'm talking about with a knit stitch, there is a definite V. And when we look at this piece of fabric that I've created, you can see the V right here. Right here. So when you're crocheting normally, what you do is you find the top of the stitch and you stitch through that to make the regular crochet stitch. So if you wanted to, and I'm trying to get that close enough, you go through these. So if I were crocheting, I would go through this one and this one and this one. So you're pretty much crocheting in the top of those. And it gives you a completely different fabric than if you crochet to make it look like knit. And I'm going to pull this up pretty far. So when you look at this, okay, this would be the normal crochet stitch, but I want you to look at that V between there. There's one in between each one. If you take your hook and go between that V and crochet through there, you're going to get what looks like more of a knit stitch. And this works really well if you're crocheting in the round. It can be done if you're crocheting a flat piece, but most of the time if you're knitting like a sweater or crocheting a sweater, like this would be a sleeve. This would be my sleeve. I haven't done the ribbing, but you would be crocheting in the round. And same thing with the body of a sweater. You would be crocheting in the round. So I'm going to show you again. There's my V. There's my V. This is where it would normally go if I were just crocheting, but because I want to make a knit crochet stitch look knit, I find that V and I will crochet into that V. And if you watch me, I'm using that little pointy part to kind of separate that. It's a little bit harder if you're going in this way. But if I use my little pointy part, I can get right in there. And you can see I'm making V stitches. And so it looks a lot more like knit. And so if you like the look of knit, but you like to crochet, you can get the look of knit with crochet stitches. Today we're just doing the regular stockinette stitch, and the next time I'm going to try and show you how to do a moss stitch, which is also a knit stitch that you can turn into a crochet stitch. But this just looks really pretty, and it's something different if you want to try it. And you can kind of see if I pull these up, you can kind of see there's your V stitches, and they're going one on top of the other. Just like with knitting, when you knit, you have the V stitches going one on top of the other. So that's one way to enhance your crocheting. If you don't like the look of knit stitch, that's okay too, but this is just something to add to your repertoire. I would just suggest, if you want to learn how to do this, that you cast on an even number of stitches and then just practice. And going in the round is very easy. Now, if I want to do the knit stitch on the back, let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to find a V, and I'm going to put my needle through that V to the other side. So, and I split it. Sometimes that's kind of hard to avoid. So if I put my needle through, sometimes this will help you until you get confident with knitting in the back to make a knit stitch. And so where that needle is actually where I want to, and you can turn your work so that you're coming out of the V. And you can go back doing pretty much the same thing. And you see, when I put my needle through, I kind of pull it to my right, and then you can see I turn it so that I can see that I'm coming through that V. Normally you would just knit through here, but because we want to create the V on the other side, we're going to try, and sometimes it might even help if you just turn it over. There you go. Let me pull this a little bit tighter. This is a little bit trickier doing it from the back, but as you can see, I'm starting to get V stitches here too. So it can be done through the front or the back. You just have to be aware of your stitch mostly on the front. And again, you're welcome to take another crochet hook, or if you have knitting needles, let me see, do I have knitting needles anywhere? Nope, I don't have knitting needles. No, I don't. So what you could do is you could actually come from this side, the front side, put your needle through that V, and then you'll know where to put your needle to come through to the other side. So it's just a little bit different than straight knitting. And again, if I turn it over on the other side, I'm still keeping with my V's. And so when I come back here, I don't actually knit in there, I knit. You just kind of have to practice this a little bit. And it's almost looks like it's the inverted. This is the V for the crochet stitch, because you would go right in there. But if you're on this side, you actually kind of want to go through the inverted V. And so you can see this is making my stitches. Okay, I hope this has helped you. I hope it's something that you might enjoy doing. Go ahead and play with some of these things, and we'll try and do the moss stitch next time so that you can kind of see that you can play with all kind of stitches with crochet. Okay, I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.